Welcome to the dish and my co-host, Teri Knight. Hi, Teri.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. We're back. We're
Ah,
back in audio and video this week after a hiatus.
it's so great to see your face,
It
Mark.
is because we're long distance. Teri and I are actually sitting about 90 miles apart from each other. So,
Yep.
um, and we were just rapping a little bit about the whole gun issue, and I don't want to get into it because Teri and I just talked about it. But the
Right.
Texas massacre,
Yeah.
school shooting. And we're throwing around the concept idea of maybe just kind of talking about those kind of things for 5 minutes before we get
hmm
into our. And then we can lighten the mood with the bold and the beautiful.
And if yeah, absolutely. And if someone would like to comment about what they think about
Yeah,
us doing that,
that's
please
great.
do so.
Yep. Thanks, Teri. That's a good
Yeah.
suggestion. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So just a reminder to our listeners, we're available on most apps, Android and Apple. And again, this week we're going to be back on our Soap Dish Facebook page and YouTube.
Ooh.
And I'm going to point out, Teri,
Yes.
I've heard from this listener a couple times, Judy.
Hi,
Uh,
Judy.
Judy H. She's
Okay.
a Soap Dish listener that reached out on Facebook this past week to ask when we were going to be back on YouTube.
Oh,
So here we
all
are.
right.
So we'd like to hear from you, Judy. We'd like to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So since we last talked, which was last week, Teri,
Yeah.
there was a bombshell dropped. Finn is alive.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. That blindsided me.
Wow.
Because I think you and I both were reserved to the fact that he was going back into his commercials and a
Right.
different life. So,
Yeah, and when you kind of look back at some of the episodes, you think, she was pretty weird there. So you kind of think, how long have the writers been planning this one?
right. I agree.
So
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we'll take it from there.
okay.
We found out because they didn't really, and I had to Google this just to make sure, but they did not really reveal Lee Finnegan, Finn's mother, what she really did for a living. Well, we found out through this process that she's actually a doctor.
Yes,
Surprising.
there was a reference, I
Was
think,
there?
back a long time ago.
Okay.
But it was real it was brief because I think I remembered her saying something about he followed her footsteps.
Mm.
And maybe I'm making that up.
You might be right because I also thought I heard doctor once, her
Okay.
reference to his doctor. But anyway,
Okay.
so the way we learned that it was Finn was routed to her hospital, as it turns out. Did you like how they kind of built this into the story?
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
So
hmm
she was routed to her hospital after he was shot. The other hospital personnel gave up on him. They thought basically he's going to die. So she, at some point here, moved him to an undisclosed location
Yeah,
where
and
he's
what
now he's on monitoring equipment being treated by Lee, his mother.
that's weird. How do you make that happen? Because it almost looks like a does it look like a hotel room to you? Or I don't know, maybe I'm just making that up because of Sheila, but
It almost looks like it could be like part of a house or one thing that's
okay.
interesting I noticed is though, Terry, is if you look at the wall, there's it's almost like a hospital because there's outlets like every 2 feet going down the wall.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah, because
Deductive.
I'm like, I'm like you. I was trying to figure out. So where in the heck is
Yeah,
he? You know.
yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I guess we'll find out probably before too much longer.
Well, I hope so. I hope it doesn't drag on forever.
So it
So,
appears, Terry, that from Lee's comments to as she's kind
yes.
of talking to Finn, he's unconscious.
hmm
That she's trying to protect him from the Forresters' kind of dangerous or whatever you want to say lives.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I mean, it's true because, well, Sheila has such a thing for the Foresters
Right.
that, yeah.
It is true.
hmm
Um, So meanwhile, Liam's over at Steffi's trying to comfort her again.
Yes.
I'm having a hot toddy because my voice is really bad.
Oh, no.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So, all right. Well, the two of them, I've got a prediction about that.
Okay.
But I want to make a comment. Hope is wearing a lot of makeup recently.
hmm
Have you noticed that?
I have. She's
Okay.
much more sexied up, I would say, and
Yes.
she's also wearing lower cut shirts. Have you noticed that?
Oh, that part I didn't. I did not notice.
That's the guy thing.
Good job. That's why. That's why this works.
I have noticed though for a while, like you said, Teri, she's been wearing more makeup. She's wearing her hair has been kind of updated, her
Yes.
hairstyle.
Yes.
Yeah. So
She
yeah,
looks
definitely.
great.
She does
Yeah.
look good. I agree.
hmm
All right. So as we said, Liam's over at Steffi's. So Steffi calls Lee because she wants to deal with the whole memorial, death of Finn, etc.
hmm
So they agree to meet at Steffi's because obviously Lee doesn't want. That's what makes me think, Teri, when I saw that's what makes me think maybe she's got him at wherever she is staying
hmm
because she definitely doesn't want Steffi coming over there.
No.
And so Lee arrives at Steffi's and she sees through the door that Liam is there. Did you see that look on her face?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Ooh, that
Flicks could kill.
yes, absolutely. That was pretty freaky.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And timing is usually not good on soap operas. Or closing doors, etc.
Yeah.
All right, so Lee comes over. She ends up coming in the house. They talk, Steffi and her. But Lee, pretty quickly gets pretty irritated because
hmm
Steffi's asking about a memorial. Where's Finn buried, or where is his cremated body?
Right.
Right. So she
Well,
wants out of there.
yeah. And you think though, Lee, you have to expect that.
Right.
Obviously, Steffi needs closure. So she's not playing that very, very well.
Right.
But
She doesn't seem like
she's
she has a good plan or
upset.
end game. Do you think?
No, no. It's a very strange situation there because I'm trying to figure out what is her end game.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And I might have a prediction about that too.
Ooh, Sudsy. I'm anticipating Sudsy, Teri.
Okay.
All right.
We'll
So after Lee walks out, Steffi and Liam comment on how she was acting really suspicious.
see.
And then I think Steffi said almost like she had something to hide. So they're
Yeah.
getting a little hinky about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. I'm curious to get to your prediction here shortly.
Yes.
All right. So Lee goes back to Finn, and this is how it ended today, Teri. So Lee goes back and talks to Finn. He obviously he's still unconscious.
Yeah.
About hoping that Steffi is worthy of his love. So I think that really bothered her that Liam was there.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
by the looks.
my question for you is Lee thinking clearly? She's acting kind of, well, the whole thing's crazy, but
Yeah.
I mean, just her facial expressions and the way she's kind of reacting to everything is.
Oh, I
I'm
think
wondering,
she's
mentally not in a good place.
unstable. Yeah, no,
Okay.
she's definitely unstable. And I think because if she was more stable as a doctor, wouldn't you say, look, I've got him? I mean, is there some kind of protocol with doctors that once one is said, oh, they're dead, then I don't know. I'm just curious about how she manipulated that, and why wouldn't she just say, wait a minute, I want to keep trying?
Right.
at the hospital. But anyway,
And that's probably why, Terry, we didn't see how that all happened because logistically,
yeah,
how are you going to, like you said, realistically, how are you going to make that happen?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
All
that would
right.
require a lot of cooperation. I mean, you're not going to just,
Yes.
one person to be able to pull that off is just about impossible.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So let's move into
Mm-hmm.
predictions, Terry.
Okay.
You start because I'm dying to hear what you have to say.
All right. So I have a prediction with Lee, and um, well, a couple of others too. But with Lee, I think that she's really going to go off the deep end because every time she shows up, every time she's there, Liam is going to be there. And I think that she is going to ask if she can have Hayes and take him out for an outing. And then I think she's going to take him to Finn and they're going to disappear.
Ooh, I like that. That's really sudsy.
Yeah, I thought that's a pretty good one.
That's pretty damn
Even
good,
if I
Terry.
say so myself.
You deserve a pat on the back for
Thank
that one. That's a
you.
good one.
All right. So what about you?
Okay, so I think a couple things. So first, I'm going to say, you notice well, you didn't see how it ended today.
Mm-mm.
So the way it ended was Liam was over at Steffi's, and she's kind of starting to break up, and they're both sitting on the couch, and she kind of leans into Liam's shoulder. He's got his arm around her, and she puts her arm on his leg. I'm thinking, they have a history, so I'm just afraid. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think those two are going to get involved again, and then about the time that all starts to happen, Finn's going to come out of his coma or unconsciousness. And then
Ooh.
shit is going to hit the fan.
Ooh, that's sudsy. That could work.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and then to thicken the plot, let's say that they do hook up and Steffi's pregnant.
Oh,
Because if you look at the way they're
yeah.
filming, she's pregnant, and we know that. But with those big jackets and shooting from here up most of the time, she's not. At least that's what I think. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
we'll
I've
see.
noticed that as well. I'm kind of wondering though if with her pregnancy somehow they're going to write that so that she can take a leave of absence. So that's why I think something's going to happen to her.
Oh,
Let me think on
okay.
that until next week.
Ooh,
Let's see.
sounds
You got
good.
anything else? I'm trying to
I
think if I
do
have.
have. Uh, well, I've got one, and I've said it before, and
Okay.
I'm curious as to whether this will happen simply because they've been letting Brooke be a pretty good person recently.
Oh, she's so whiny though, Terry.
Oh, I know.
But yes,
Um,
no
but
drama lately since the kids,
right,
since New Year's Eve.
yes. Um, but eventually, I'm thinking Brooke is going to blame Taylor for letting Sheila in and creating the whole mess. And I think part of that might be because of Liam and Steffi.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
Mhm. So
That's
we'll
good.
see.
I like that.
Thanks. Okay. How
All
about
right.
you?
I think somehow I'm going to make one more. I'm going to say I think Dollar Bill is going to re-enter the picture. They've had him gone for quite a while,
Yeah.
and so I'm kind of thinking, and I can't even quite see how this is going to happen yet, but I think Bill's going to find his way to Brooke again. I do. Um,
I could see it.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and I don't know if that means Taylor. So what I can see happening is something splits those two either Ridge can't make his way back to Brooke and ends up with Taylor, which I could see happening. And then I see Dollar Bill moving in. And with Brooke, I mean, putting the moves on and kind of making that thing kind of come back together.
And to be honest with you, I'd like to see it.
I would
think
too, Teri.
Brooke should be with Bill
I do too.
because the two of them are a great match.
Yeah, and they deserve each other.
They do. And Taylor should be with Ridge.
I agree.
So,
Yep.
all right.
Yep. All right. Well, that's good. We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
All right. So until we dish again.
Oh, let's keep it sudsy.
And we are out.